Hey everyone, and welcome to my best games of 2022. Now obviously this is my list and not someone else's, so there's going to be a lot of differences probably from other people because there's a lot of games that came out, and I think 2022 was a fantastic year for games. But there's a couple of ground rules for my list, and the first is that I played the game more than once in 2022. The second is that it had a US release in 2022, so some games might have been released earlier elsewhere, maybe in Europe or somewhere else, but for my list, it's games that were released in 2022 in the US, and I'm even going to link in the description below another video with games that didn't quite make this list, whether I only played them once, or I didn't get to play them at all, or some other reason that they just didn't make this top 10. Don't forget to check out that video, but let's get right into this video with number 10, Three Sisters, which is a game by Matt Riddle and Ben Pinchback and published by their new publishing company, Motor City Games, or Motor City Gameworks. This is a fantastic roll and write that follows along in being nice and crunchy and a little bit more thinky than their game Fleet the Dice game, and they have more games coming that are going to be from Motor City Gameworks that I'm really looking forward to. I've already backed some, but I really enjoyed this one. It just didn't quite make it higher on the list because there's some fantastic games, like I said. So Three Sisters by Matt Riddle, Ben Pinchback, 2 sheets, lots to do, lots to think about. I love roll and writes. Great game. Coming in at number 9 by Matthew Dunstan and Brett Gilbert is The Guild of Merchant Explorers from AEG. A game that feels like a roll and write, but it's not. It's this game where you're exploring different maps, and it has different maps, and you get to do different things, and those things build on one another in that nice engine building way, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to put the cubes out there and see your things grow and see your map grow and be able to explore. I will always be ready and willing to play this game. Some people thought it was ugly. I don't mind the maps at all, but the one thing I am looking for is the promo. I probably need to pick up the promo for this because I like this game that much. It has tons to explore, a lot of fun. I enjoy this game a lot, and I can't not recommend it to number 9, The Guild of Merchant Explorers. Coming in at number 8, and probably no surprise if you know me well and you've been to one of the events that I've led, or you saw me at Gen Con or anything else, I was completely surprised and caught off guard by this game. I had a chance to teach it, and I didn't know that I was going to be able to teach it, but it really surprised me. I like the fact that it plays 2 to 6 players. I like the fact that you do a little bit different things each time. I like the artwork. The artwork is fantastic. Hidden Leaders, it just had a Kickstarter for an expansion to it. I personally backed that because I think this is a great game to share with people. It's easy to teach, but it allows you to learn a little bit more about like deck building and going off of other people's playing, as it has that tug of war that is the central mechanic in it, and you have to balance 4 things, and don't let those undead get ahead in this game. But Hidden Leaders, great game from BFF Games with art by Satoshi Matsura. I really like this one, and you'll probably still see me bring it to some gaming events in 2023. Coming in at number 7 is the only GMT game on this year's list for me. I was hoping to get Twilight Struggle, Red Sea Conflict in the Horn of Africa, but I haven't seen that one yet, so I can't include it on this list. So anyways, for GMT games this year, I played this one the most solo. I really enjoy it. It is a light kind of card-driven game with a very apropos topic related to the South China Sea and what's going on there, and it kind of gives you a light overview of what might be going on there and some of the historical background there, enough to get you started in conversation with others. I like that about it. I like how it plays. It's easy to learn, and it plays really well. Very enjoyable game that is a somewhat historical game that also has content that is related today. Coming in at number 7, Flashpoint South China Sea. Coming in at number 6, I wasn't sure if this was going to make the list or not, but then I got a chance to play it again. I got a chance to get my copy again, and that is Cat in the Box. This made a Gen Con debut. I wondered if it would hold up. I finally got my copy and checked it out again, and it does hold up. It plays really best 3 to 5. There is a 2-player mode, but this is a trick-taking game where you kind of make up the colors of the cats that you're playing, and you hope that you don't get a paradox. If you get a paradox, then things are not going to go well for you. But the game is a lot of fun. The components are really cute, and I love a good trick-taking game. There were a couple other trick-taking games. Again, you'll have to watch my other video to see the other trick-taking games that didn't quite make this list. This one beat them all out because I think this one probably has the staying power. I don't know. I enjoy this one the most right now. I love trick-taking games, so this one took my number 6 spot for best games of 2022. Coming in at number 5, probably not a big surprise to people who know what I think about war games and big games where you have over-the-table stuff happening and there is just this feel of epicness. This one captured my attention more than any other epic game this year. That is John Company, 2nd edition by Cole Wehrle and published by Whirligig Games. This game looks amazing when it's all set up. It has so many different components that just draw you in, and the artwork is fantastic if you like that kind of Victorian-esque feel to things. It's a lot of fun as it comments both on the society that it was talking about and it comments on our current society related to things about like consumption and production and, you know, general capitalism taking over and doing its thing and then relying on that to retire. Well, that's a whole other thing, but this game definitely makes at least one statement, if not multiple statements, and it makes a statement when you see it laid out. I like it solo. I liked it at the small player count. I really want to play it as a big game, and if I had played it as a big game and had a good experience, it might have been number 1. I just didn't get that experience, but I did get to play it a few times. So John Company, 2nd edition by Cole Wehrle and Whirligig Games. Foundations of Rome is the number 4 spot on my list. I'm not even gonna try to show you this whole thing. If you've seen me lugging this around at a convention or maybe at a gaming space, I've done both. I've taught it to a bunch of people. I've shared this with people. This game draws everybody in. Even if you don't play, you come over and ask, what's that? If you don't know what it is, it's a lot of fun to teach. It's a very fun game to play. It plays fast. I think my longest game was like 90 minutes. For a game that just looks fun sitting out on the table, that's awesome. It has great components, and I was a sucker enough that I had to go and get, I don't usually get all the expansions for things personally. I don't always need that, but I've enjoyed this game enough and I've played it enough that I am also going to get the monuments with the reprinting. So if you can play with some people and you don't have to buy it yourself, this is a really fun game. Come play with me. I'd love to play with you. I really, really enjoy it. Highly recommend it. Foundations of Rome by Emerson Matsuki and published by Arcane Wonders. Check it out. Come play with me sometime or play with anybody else that you can catch a game with. It's a lot of fun and it's not a brain burner, but it does involve some fun choices. The game that I have played the most solo this year was my favorite for quite a while. And I still like to play it, still like to just enjoy some of the puzzles that it provides. I have figured out a little bit more of it. I can play it cooperatively or I can play it competitively. For a while, I thought maybe this might even be my number 1 game of the year, but it didn't quite take that spot because, well, you'll see about that in a minute. But that game is The Turing Machine, published here in the US by Scorpion Mask, and it's by Fabien Gradel and Johan Levitt. And it is a game where you have these programming challenges that you are pitting yourself against. This game is not for everyone, but I like that you can play it solo. I like that you can play it cooperatively. I like how it feels as if there is something thinking against you, even though it's just a programming thing where the outputs could be expected. But the artwork is a lot of fun for what it is. They did a good job of making it feel like a Turing machine type of thing. Got my copy back at Gen Con, and I'm so glad I did. I've played this at least 50 times this year, probably a lot more than that. I haven't kept track. That's one of my resolutions for 2023 is to actually keep track of all my plays. But Turing Machine from Scorpion Mask, check it out if you like to find out things in a logic puzzle and do things together. Again, you don't have to play it competitively. Great game. Number 3 for me this year. Coming in at number 2 is Ostia by Tatsuka Chuo and published by Uchibukwaya. This game, although I almost wish there was a little bit more to the solo mode. I've played the solo mode several times. It's gorgeous. The game is gorgeous. Look at that artwork. It is just a nice bit of artwork, and the components are fabulous. It was a wonderful follow-up to Aqua Garden in that it offered a little bit more in the game. I am looking forward to sharing this with more people. I think this game will be around for a while. The Mancala element where you're moving your boats a little bit, and then you also have to get your boats to the places to get the victory points at the end. That's a lot of fun. Grabbing nice pieces in a tactile game that isn't too deep but offers some different choices for people, and then it has a different setup. This is a solid game. Number 2, Ostia by Tatsuka Chuo and Uchibukwaya. Finally, the number 1 game that came out for me in the US in 2022 was unsurprisingly a roll and write. It was also not surprising that it was related to an IP that I enjoy a lot, but I didn't necessarily want to own because I don't always have a chance to play it. And that is Twilight Inscription from Fantasy Flight Games and designed by James Niffen. This game, I could play it any day and be happy. I have not played it as much as some other games because of the time required, an hour and a half or so, but the fact that I can enjoy any game of this and just have a good time sitting there with people. I'm not always good at it. I don't know that matters. It's a lot of fun. The fact that it's a lot of fun, plays up to 8 people, and still has a Twilight Imperium type feel to it, I love this game. The artwork's great. The game plays well. I wish there would be a little bit more clarity in some of the things, but overall, this is like a 9.6, 9.7 out of 10 for me personally, because it's a roll and write, because it's a game that I can share with several people at the same time, because I can come back to it and find new ways to play over and over and over again. This is my number 1 pick of the year, Twilight Inscription from James Niffen and Fantasy Flight Games. If you think I missed something or you disagreed with me, that's fine. That's great. Let me know in the comments below. Also check out my best games that didn't make it into my top 10 for whatever reason in the featured description below this video. Thanks for watching. Happy gaming, and we'll catch you later.